Hey, I wanna. We go jump into some stuff. Good to have. Where's Michelle? Good to have you back. Were you hanging out? And you made World Series. You headed to the World Series. Where's that gonna be held? Louisiana. I'm ready to go to the World Series. Hmm. So we're dealing with the subject of thinking accurately or accurately thinking. And I want to really how many of you when you get challenged in your thinking you get defensive? You get defensive. Very easy to get defensive. You know what I think it because I deal with this a lot in my own life. When I'm challenged about what I believe and I get defensive, you know what it is? For me, it's because I have invested so much in it, got so much time in it for you to begin to dismantle it or threatening it. I feel like there's a lot at stake. There's a lot at stake. So we become defensive on what we believe. And this could be probably all these things overarch onto each other and connect with each other and overlap on each other. So, it's just like, I doubt if any of you have spoken to your little toe this morning or even looked at it or anything. It's just insignificant part of your body. You focused on your face and your eyebrows and your everything you see, but your little toe is just as significant for the rest of your body. So accurate thinking is so key to this process. But I want to ask you, and I want to speak to the parents for a moment and grandparents for a moment. And this is so key. And for those who are children or grandchildren or whatever, here's the thing. You have to be able, when your child, your preteen or your teenager or young adult, when they are making decisions, you need to be able and you should say, how did you arrive at that decision? How did you arrive at that? I don't know. Don't ever accept I don't know for what you believe. How did you select that? How did you choose that? How did you pick that? You are where you are based on your selection process. Your college, a lot of people will go to college. How did you choose that college? Some people, I went into the military because my dad was in the Navy. And my mom wouldn't let me go in the Marine Corps. She said it was too violent. She said, you can't go in there, it's too violent. I'm going to the Navy. I chose the Navy. Listen, this is so important as we move forward. You have to allow people to question you. Without you get the only reason that we get defensive when we're questioned is because we feel inadequate or we don't have the answer or we look immature. And when people ask you the questions, it doesn't mean that it's a negative questioning. It's mean they may want to know how you arrived because they may be interested of how you got there so they can get there. So let's just, and I'm jumping ahead, it's in a little bit of a handout. So let's jump ahead and let's just pause for a minute, okay? If you do not want to participate, just do your hand like skip, okay? So we go start with Alana. Why are you a Christian? Okay. Who else in here is Christian? Brianna, why are you a Christian? Okay. Alana? Oh no, me again. You have a Camry, right? Is your car? Huh? You have a Camry. Why do you have a Camry? Okay. Haley, what kind of car? You have a little SUV, don't you? Okay. Why do you have that? Okay. That's a good reason to have that one. I'll take anybody's car. You want to give me a car? I like it. Why you got that car? It was given to me. I take cars that are given to me. Why do you think it was given to you? And he wanted a new car. Okay. You have to be able to respond to people of why you do what you do. Why did you wear what you are wearing? Why did you pick that out? Because I like it. That's what a lot of people say. Is it about what you like, or is it about how other people will perceive you? Okay? It's important. Important. And I want to challenge you this morning as we get into this to begin to develop the attitude for people to question you. And you should have an answer for everything you say, believe, and do. Okay? But I'm going to show us that most of us believe and do because of things that we don't realize that have influenced us. And we do rote thinking, and we do traditional thinking, and we do cultural thinking. And I'm not saying that any of that is in and of itself wrong, but in and of itself, if you don't have an answer for it, questions whether you can be an accurate thinker. I'm not sure what's going on. This thing keeps moving. I have something I want to write. So I started to text Lisa this morning and tell her I have a new title for a new series. I don't know when I'm ever going to do it. I just like the title. And the title is I Dare You. You remember that growing up? I dare you. When someone says I dare you, what does that mean? Double dog dare you. I mean, that's really serious. I double dog dare you. I want to create a series, I dare you. I dare you to be successful. I dare you to worship. I dare you. I heard a statement this week, and this is what I heard. I think it was a great quote. This individual said, as an American, your expectations are too low. As a Christian, your expectations are too low. Diane and I went riding yesterday. I found out something about interest. Husbands and wives, might be a good point for you. Interest. Try to have an interest opposite of your spouse, because when you have the same, you spend a lot more money. There's no safeguard when your wife is doing what you're doing. You want to get this? Yeah, let's get it. Someone say, no, think about it. No, let's get it. It gets. So we went riding, and I dropped $700 in like 2 hours. I'm like, this is too much money, man. We just riding around. Daniel said, "What'd you do today?" I said, "I spent money today." I dare you. Look at the person beside you and say, "I dare you." You ought to dare your kids. You ought to dare your parents. You ought to think of things you need to be daring. Okay, you know our scripture, time-wise, we're not going to jump to, but we're going to go to Joshua 1, 2 through 10. Prepare. I need to pause here a minute. I know I've just been feeling things out here, but let me pause for a minute just for clarity. Everything I teach, it's not apart from Jesus or separate from Jesus or God or your faith. That is the foundation, okay? I do not believe money and finances is your aim. I just believe it should be right there beside it. I believe money is like oxygen. You got to have it. And if you don't believe that, try living without it. People tell me all the time, you talk about money too much. You talk about your lack too much. What you can't afford too much. And groceries are too high. You know, if you have money, groceries are never too high. If you have money, electric's never too high. It's only when you feel the deficit and lack do you begin to talk about how expensive things are. If you had $10 million, you wouldn't think about anything. You wouldn't think about it. So your lack of it is a determination that tells you what comes out of your mouth. You know, so if you don't like money, I put me as, just designate me as one that will take all the leftovers that you don't want. Okay, I will gladly do that and use it wisely. Prepare. Everything in life's about preparation. Cross to the country. I am giving the sons of God. I'm giving you every square inch of the land you set your foot on. Just as I promised, it's all yours, all your life. No one will be able to hold out against you. These are such promise and stuff. No one can't stand against you. Strength, courage, you're going to lead these people to inherit the land that I promised to give their ancestors. Here's my favorite. Give it everything you got. I dare you to give it everything you got. I dare you. Now, I'm not a huge sports fan as far as following it, but I'm sure you have seen Caitlin Clark in the news, on the news, about her in the women's NBA. And she is hated. And you know what's the first thing that happens when you start getting hated? The race cards always go be played. Your upbringing's go be played. I mean, it's just, how do we undermine something to deflate you? Whatever means is necessary. But she is an excellent player. But if you're going to be successful and stand out, you're going to be hated. I love haters. You need to love them. You need to appreciate them. They're fuel for you. The people that don't like you, you need to hang around them more. Say, thank you so much for your fuel. Thank you. I appreciate you fueling me. And it says, give it everything you got, heart and soul. Make sure you carry out the revelation that God commanded you, every bit of it. Don't get off track, either left or right, so as to make sure you get to where you're going. Possessing overwhelming success in everything you undertake. Everything you put your hands to, you should be successful at it. And don't for a minute let this book of Revelation be out of mind. Ponder it and meditate on it day and night, making sure you practice everything written in it. Then you'll get to where you're going. Then you'll enjoy incredible prosperity and success. Haven't I commanded you strength, courage? Don't be timid. Don't get discouraged. How do you not get discouraged? Do you not get discouraged? I feel discouragement many times. It starts coming on you, and you have to deal with that. It says, Abba, your Papa is with you every step you take. This is one of my favorite scriptures. I just go over this and over this. Now, notice what this says is practice everything. Notice this again. Keep that up there. Practice everything written in it. You have to use, when you're going to cook something, you have to use all the ingredients, right? So I'm just talking for a minute. When I am talking to us, I hope my talking is encouragement to you. The Word tells us how to live a successful Christian life. But to do that, it's saying here, you must put all the ingredients in this. Now listen, let's just talk for a minute. I'm going to use a lot of analogies today, okay? A lot of people have views about Christianity and about going to church, okay? They have different views about it. So let's just use worship. Do you know worship? Whether you clap your hands, raise your hands, some people dance, some people sway, or whatever, it's some outward expression. Okay? It's some outward expression. You do understand that worship is an ingredient to a successful Christian life. You get that? You get to choose whether you put that ingredient in your lifestyle, but you can't expect to get the same results that others get when you choose or select not to do that because you don't think it's necessary. See, this ingredient right here is not... This isn't something that you put together. God put this ingredient and instructions together, and He says if you will apply all the ingredients according to the recipe, you get the results. Remember when Job was sitting at the table and all of a sudden he was one of the most wealthy, multi-million, billionaire people. He lost all of his money in a matter of seconds. He lost 10 kids, killed, 10 children, killed. He lost all of this in a matter of minutes or an hour. And what did he do? He worshiped. First thing he did was worshiped. See, that was an ingredient in his life that was a primary ingredient. And to live a successful Christian life, we like to pick and choose. I don't like that. I don't think that's necessary. I don't want to do that. That's not my personality. I wasn't raised that way. See, I wasn't raised that way. Because you're raised a certain way, does that make you choose this or don't choose it? You don't realize how big the influence of your home environment is. If you're raised and your parents listen to a lot of country music, guess what you go listen to? You probably go have a little bit of country music. If you raised with screamo and all that, you may lean towards screamo. If you like old time rock and roll, you like I don't know, whatever you do have a little bit of influence in picking, but most of it you heard it so much that you're lean toward that. I know you don't believe that. This is my choosing. It's really not your choosing. Okay? So we talked about, let's look at Proverbs 23:7. For as one thinketh within him, so he is. As you think, so you are. You're not anything different than what you think. You're not different than what you think. Your thinking is what makes you make decisions. Your thinking makes you say, this is important, this is not important. This is what I want to be doing, this is what I shouldn't be doing. This is where I want to go, this is not where I want to go. Your mind is constantly thinking, and then your thinking is producing your behavior, your attitude, your conversation, your selection, and then it's all based on how you think. All you have to do is look at people and say, you don't have to worry. Wonder why they did that. It's how they think. That's a good way to say it, Heather. You act according to your thinking. You can't act according to your thinking. And then Deuteronomy 30:19, I call heaven and earth to witness against you today. I place before you life and death, blessing and curse. And he tells you which one to choose. God tells you the answer before you have to choose. And we still decide, well, I don't think that's the right answer. That's called inaccurate thinking. He tells you the answer. Remember that all toxic negative thinking connects you to a curse. It connects you to destruction. It connects you to things you don't want to be connected to. Toxic thoughts connect you to the curse. I don't know how I end up in this situation. You ever said that? I don't know how I ended up in this relationship. I don't know how I ended up divorced. I don't know how I ended up addicted. I don't know how I ended up in bankruptcy. I don't know how I ended up. I can tell you how you ended up. You're thinking. You're thinking. You thought that little girl was cuter than your wife. You thought that little man you got caught up on the little ab right there. He was a little cute. Your thinking was inaccurate. Your thinking was inaccurate. And we all have inaccurate thinking. But the goal should be evaluating my thinking so I don't continue to make bad decisions. I know someone that they have she's about 22. She's 22, 23. She bought a new pickup. It was a 2015 dually. Yep. Dually. Her truck payment is $1,200 a month. And 2015. Her truck payment is $1,200 a month. And someone signed for her. And she's working 2 or 3 jobs. What do you do? How do you, look, please understand what I'm about to say here. No sympathy, no empathy. None. That's your decision. That is your choice. You get to do that. Just like yesterday, I said my wife and I went and spent some money. We get to do that. You get to do that. You get to go to Starbucks. My wife and I went the other day. We were doing something. She had a hungering for something at Chick-fil-A, and we went to Chick-fil-A, and she got the Cobb salad. You know how big these salads are. She got a Cobb salad, and I wanted a peach. It's July, the peach milkshake. We got 2 Cobb salads and 2 peach milkshakes, and it was $38. Now, let me tell you something. Now listen. I'm 55 years old. But I sat in there and watched 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20-year-olds walking in there, and they were just buying and sitting and buying. I'm like, where are you getting money from? Where are you getting from? It's one thing if you want to go. I'm just talking. Can I just talk for a minute? It's one thing when you have a home and you're not renting. It's one thing when you have a savings account. It's one thing when you're paying your own insurance and you buying your own clothes and your own makeup. You buying everything. You are independent. You can go anywhere you want. You can go anywhere you want. But when you are dependent on other people to take care of you, and you make decisions to spend money like that, that's called inaccurate thinking. I know you get to. I know you get to. We all get to. This is not right and wrong. It's when people are going to evaluate your ability and determine, because I hear this all the time, I'm not giving anybody any money because they don't know how to use it. People won't give stuff to people that don't know how to use it. It's called maturity. And see, God, the lie of religion has been, all you have to do is believe God, and some miracles go come, and He's going to provide you a house, and He's going to provide you. I'm telling you, God don't, look at me, God don't provide you anything you don't cooperate with Him for. He is not going to build you a house and mail the thing in the mail and says, you're such a good little boy, here's a house. No, He is going to help you come up with a definite chief aim. He's going to help you come up with a work ethic. He's going to help you come up with the right personality and the right attitude to be able to put you in a place where you can earn the money and the things needed to be able to plan and purchase this. It does not come to you by you being a good person. That's a lie of religion, that these things come to you. So the back to this whole thing here about this accurate thinking, and I have given you story after story. What you are unfamiliar with and what you do not understand, you will initially disbelieve. You will disbelieve and reject what you do not understand or what you have no experience in. So the first thing I want to tell you, if you are a seeker of truth and you want to learn, you're going to be introduced to things and you're going to have to make decisions whether this is true or not true, fact or not a fact, whether it's right or wrong. And you can only do that through research and analysis. You can't do that because you're unfamiliar with it. You will miss an opportunity when you are unfamiliar with something. So we talked about two types of reasoning. I'm not going into that. We talk about the law of evidence. So where is the source of your thought habits come from? Where do you think you have a pattern? A habit is something you do over and over. Where do you think your thinking comes from? So I'm going to give you two things. Where is the source of your thoughts? They come from physical heredity. You are born with a left brain or right brain mentality. Some people are kind of free-spirited, free-floating, and other people are very fact-oriented. They analyze everything. The role of you and I is to be able, because we're all left or right brain, some people, your role is to merge the two to have a left and right brain functioning. Because a right brain will shut down any creativity. They have to have everything factual, and the floating people don't like anything factual because it shuts them down because they just like. Your role is to merge these two. The second one is social heredity. This is your environmental influences, your education and experiences. This is the most dangerous heredity because it is influenced by others only. Now, for a minute, let's pause for a minute. You don't have to raise your hands or anything. I would say in here politically, you are either independent, Republican, or Democrat based on your parents. That's social heredity. You are a political ally based on your upbringing of what your family is. Do you realize you are doing something, I am doing something that you have and I have never researched the truth of it. I had people, I said this the other night, people say, well, I don't care anything about politics. Politics is just not for me. Do you realize, how do I say this? That is probably the most, gently she says, that is probably, she said gently. See, I got coaches around me. That is probably, I'm just trying to think of the right word, the most dangerous, irresponsible. I like this. I was thinking asinine. That's not too bad. That's not too bad. And that's taming it. When you say, I don't care about politics, do you realize how that sounds? One, your gas is affected by politics. Your health care is affected by politics. The inflation is, whether you have a house, the jobs, everything is affected by 535 people saying yes, no, yes, no. 535 people in Washington, D.C. is making decisions for 350 million people, and you have a vote, and you say, well, I don't care anything about politics. Think about I'm just trying to get you to accurately think. I'm not trying to belittle. I'm not trying to condemn. I'm not trying anything. When you say, I don't care about politics, I'm not into politics, it affects your life. And you need to be an accurate thinker in your vote. And this is not political. I don't care anything about business and finances. Your whole life revolves around money. You don't know how to invest it. You don't know how to save it. You don't know whether this is a good product, a quality product. You don't compare. You don't say which is the best, which has... Accurate thinking is being able to analyze and classify and be able to organize your thoughts to make a good decision. It may not be the best, but it is, at least you're trying to make the best decision. You're not operating out, I just felt like it was a good deal. Well, there's professional marketers out there that can make it seem like you just got... Every person I go buys a car, they always say, well, they knocked $5,000 off. They knocked $5,000 off. They gave me a good deal. They knocked $5,000 off. I'm telling you, they didn't knock anything off for you. You believed something. I didn't say that. You said that. And people do this about their faith. Well, I prayed to God and nothing happened. It didn't work. I prayed to God and God didn't heal my mom, and I don't believe that stuff works. That is inaccurate thinking. What if you said the first time you walked and you tried to walk as a 2-year-old and you fell down and said, I'm not walking anymore. That walking don't work. I'm done walking. Cut my legs off. I don't care. I'm never going to walk. Walking don't work. No, you got up and you... Woohoo, we made it here. It's the process. The faith works, but it does. You go have some falls and tumbles. You're going to have some things, but you have to keep working it until you get it right. And see, most people think they can just come to church, or they just pick up the Bible, or they listen to K-Love, or whatever, and it's like, man, life's good. No, life is not going to be good until you cut that radio off and you find out, it's not that good. The song gets you all pumped up. See, most, not all people embrace religion and ally themselves politically, even select car brands based on friends, family, and dad. My dad said Ford's the only way to go. I'm a Ford person. I need a Hemi in my vehicle. I want a Hemi. I'm a Dodge. Wait, tell me, when was Mopar created? Oh, what's Mopar? It's called Dodge. You don't know anything about the car, but because Daddy said. How about this? Change your oil every 3,000 miles. Change your oil. Well, with synthetic oil and multi-blend, you don't have to change your oil every 3,000. You can go 5,000 to 10,000. Oh, I change my oil every 3,000. Well, you wasting money. It's not the old oil that you had. So you have to constantly learn how to save money and how to do things through accurate thinking. Let me tell you what I've learned about accurate thinkers. They live with an eternal question mark. I question everything. Everything someone says to me, I'm questioning it. How do you know this? Now, I'm not doing it critically. I'm not doing it negatively. I'm saying, how do you have the credibility to share your opinion with me? Hello? We all share our opinions. We all have them. But just because it's an opinion, does it mean it's an accurate opinion? How about, let's talk for a minute. Let's just talk. I don't believe in women preachers. How many times there's churches and denominations that are built. Women should not preach. Women should not wear men's clothing. Women, all these things that people say. How about this? The King James Version is the only Bible. There is no other Bible. That is dangerous thinking. How have you arrived at that? And see, I grew up in such deep religion that when in 2016, when I ran aground, man, this thing has been unraveling. And if I sat down with some of you and you were to ask me questions instead outside of news, weather, and sports, you'd be like, wow, you believe that? Yes, I do. I heard someone the other day, and they were talking. They said, my grandmom was a devout Christian who loved God, but her favorite word was the F word. And you know what? You know what people say? People say, you can't be a Christian and cuss. You can't be a Christian and smoke. You can't be a Christian. Listen, all I'm saying to you is this. The Bible says, believe on the Lord Jesus Christ and you shall be saved. That's it. Whether you use the F-bomb, whether you don't. That is not the point. I'm not here to police you on what you do. If you don't want to use the ingredients right, don't. You are choosing your own ingredients for your life and for people to hear you and talk to you. I'm not getting into whether you should use the F-bomb or not. It's your life. It is your life. I'm telling you, you need to know. People say, well, I think you. And I'm just like, I'll keep right on moving when you think. It's not what you think, it's not what you feel. That doesn't make you an accurate thinker. It's, I have done some research. See, a lot of people, I don't know if you know people, a lot of people like George Peterson, a lot of people like Ben Shapiro, a lot of people like Candace Owens, a lot of people like all kinds of people. I'm not saying there's anything right or wrong with any of these people. I'm saying everything they say is not true. Everything they say will have slant, it will have bias, it will have emotion, it will have embellishment to it. You've got to be able to eat fish and spit out bones. And then when you have people that's not even of faith, they can skew a lot of things. So the first thing I'm telling you, I have a biblical worldview. I know what the Bible says, and I study it, and I understand it. So everything comes off, I can, real quick, that's not of the Bible. That's not in God's Word. That's my source. That's the beginning of me. And then everything else, I have to work out. I have to work out my faith according to this. And I'm telling you, so many things. My good old mom, my mama used to tell me, I love you a bushel of peck and a hug around the neck. But I'm telling you, she taught me a lot of stuff that was wrong. Now, she didn't think it was wrong then, but it's wrong. Here's one right here. I'm just posing the question. Do you know there's a lot of people that believe that America's never been to the moon? Oh, I believe we've been to the moon. Prove it. Have you researched it? Well, we see them. You ought to go study that subject matter. I don't know. I can tell you, I do not know if they've been to the moon. I do know they got pictures where they set it all up in the 60s in theaters. I do know there's evidence out there that there's a flag that's waving when there's no wind in space. I don't know. And there's shadows of people when there is no shadows. So I do not know, and I'm not going to talk to you about whether people landed on space. I have no clue. Landed on the moon. I have no clue. I honestly do not know. Based on the government of the United States, I honestly don't know. And I would have debated you 15 years ago. Oh, yeah, we've been to the moon, like I know. Okay, how many days are there in a year? 365. How do you know that? You were taught there's 365 days. You do not know there's 365 days in a year. How do you know that? These are things that we have just believed because we were taught this. I'm not saying it's not right. I'm saying when you start getting defensive, when people start challenging what you believe, it makes you uncomfortable because you've never thought about it, and now you look a little... So I want to know things. I want to have the best ability to make the right decisions when I make them. I do not trust people to make my decisions. I do not trust other people. I listen to people. I talk to people. You have got to, when people give you advice, and I'm just telling you, some of you, you go and ask people for advice. Well, what do you think? Why are you even asking that person what they think? Why don't you go and ask someone who has got a little bit of credibility? You think I should? Oh, yeah, I think you should. Yay. Does that make sense to you? Accurate thinking is accepting no political, no religious, or other type of thought, regardless of the source, unless you have proven it comes from a good source. Bria called Diane a lot of times, and other people, I think Mike calls Diane a lot and said, what do you think about so-and-so? Because they know she likes, what do you think about so-and-so? And Diana said, well, I think this. And then people go out and say, well, I think this. Well, how'd you come up with that? Oh, Diane said that. Diane said that. I'm not saying that's not credible. I'm just saying you don't know, and you haven't researched. You've got to find sources of truth because truth is scarce today. We're just talking about things. We just go throw these things out. So here's the question. Civil rights. Was civil rights? Who created civil rights? Do you know who created civil rights? And do you know why civil rights was created? I'm not getting into it. But I am telling you, it's not what you think. Your government created civil rights. Why did they create it? See, when you get these things challenged, because we believe these things. How about segregation? All these things we hear over and over and over and over and over, that after a while we begin to believe them. And we begin to enforce them. Just like in the church, we begin to enforce things. Where's hell? What sends you to hell? What does hell mean? Are you we have these strong convictions, but we have no factual evidence to back them up. It's wrong. Based on what? Based on what is it wrong? I'm not saying we're trying to get away with as much as possible. I'm saying you need to know why you do something or don't do it. Is this the best method for me and my family? So here's a few questions. Why are you a Christian? You need to know why you're a Christian or why you're not a Christian. Why do you attend the church you attend? So let me help everybody out this week. I think I shared this with Casey. I probably hadn't shared this, but let me tell you. I narrowed down what I do a little bit more. I am here to raise sons, not 10 sheep. There's a big difference. See, a lot of people want a shepherd because they needed tending to. I'm not talking about loving. See, a father raises sons to think and to be influential and to make decisions and to impact the world. Most churches have shepherds, and a shepherd walks in, come on, it's time to eat. Come on, it's time to drink some water. Come on. Don't say that. Don't say that. Shh. No, they're trying to interfere with everybody. Shh. Yeah, don't listen to that. And we raise soft people that only when they want. I started to go over to Harris Teeter, and do you know that they have baby food that's actually meat in a bottle? Do you know, and my wife eats carrots. You ever seen a carrot, right? The carrot's about this big orange thing. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. Okay, let's get you some baby food. We want it pureed. We want everything pureed. Don't talk about money. Don't talk about my attitude. Don't tell anybody I have to wave. Don't tell me I have to worship. Don't tell me where to sit. Don't tell me any of that. That pisses me off. I'm going to go home. Go home. We're raising sons. This ain't a sheep farm. I want you to be able to take a bullet and stand. I want you to be able to take some criticism and know I'm doing it right. I'm willing to go against the wave. I'm willing to go against anything because I believe in my heart this is right, and I believe it lines the best that I understand the Bible. No, we're not. This isn't a baby food place. And listen, it's okay if people say, "Well, I'm gonna go to a different church because I'm not being fed." I get it. I get this, and it is a choice. Because this church likes giving baby food, that's their decision. And if you like going there, that's their decision. I don't have any baby food here. And this is my decision and our decision, and it's okay. And you can go to 300 churches in Wilmington and find what baby food brand you like. This is not me, but we got to be for all people, all things. No. Well, do you believe in this? No. Well, you believe in LGBTQ? No. But I am perfectly fine. Listen, let's just talk for a minute about accurate things. I'm perfectly okay. I do not have any issue with a woman sleeping with a woman. I don't have any issue with a man sleeping with a man. That's your choice. I'm going to sleep with a woman, that woman. I don't want to sleep with another man. I don't. But we're not trying, the world gets to make decisions, but you don't get to go into a church and tell the church what you think they should accept. You get to do that. You can smoke 420. I don't care. Honestly, these are things that don't matter to me. They're not issues to me. You get to design your life, and you get to design your family, and you get to design your personality, and you get to design your believing. And if you want to be a walking around parrot, you get to do that. I'm comfortable with you being like that. You just need to be comfortable with being me. Why are you hating me for my recipe? You don't have to eat my recipe. You don't have to eat what I'm cooking. Cook your own. it's that big of a deal anymore. We have lost the ability to accurately make decisions. We want, well, what do you think? What do you think I should do? What do you think I should do? What do you think I should do? What do you think? I got 3 and 2. I guess I'm gonna go with this one. I don't care if it's 4 and 0. I'm doing this. I want you to be able to make good decisions. And that's why America is in the condition it's in, and the church is in the condition it's in, because no one wants to speak up and speak accurate about things. They're afraid of what people think. Okay? Here's some lies. God will not, some things I said. God will not build you a home and deliver it to you. God will not have a bank give you money. You know, if you're praying for God, I need some money, you're never going to have Truist Bank to write you a check and say, I just felt to give you this $100,000. It ain't happening. Did someone give you a car? No one gave you one? Huh. So why do you think someone give you? Someone gave her a car. That's unfair, isn't it? I had to work and get my car. Someone gave you a car. So now we come up with, I go to church just like Haley. Haley goes to church like me. Why? We don't accurately think that I'm in. Now, some people cars get given to them. Some they don't. So, can I tell you, your personality has a lot to do with what people give you. People like to be around people that are positive. People like being around people that are encouraging. People like to be around people that make them feel like, yeah, we got some chemistry here. Chemistry matters of who you hang around. If you have no chemistry, it's like the light and Dracula. It's like, ah. This whole thing I'm teaching you is a recipe, and you get to decide what your life is going to be like. God lets you design your life, and He gives you all the ingredients and says, I'm giving you all these ingredients. Choose all these ingredients, and you'll get this. Nah, I don't want that. Nah, I don't want that. No, I don't think that's necessary. We go substitute that. I think that, and then you wonder why you don't have the same life Greg has, and say, why does Greg? And see, you already moved into victim thinking. I am never a victim. I'm always a victor. You know, my favorite song is, all I do is win, win, win. If I'm not winning, I'm like, something's wrong. Why am I not winning? And and nobody wants to be on a team when it's the Super Bowl, because I'm going in pulling for this team because I think they're the best. But if this team starts to win, I'm like, they're doing a better job. I'm with this team. I'm not going down because I'm loyal. They didn't come in hungry enough. They didn't come in. They come in overconfident. They come in. They messed up. This team come in and they're hungry. They're giving it everything they got. It doesn't mean I don't like the team anymore. It just means you giving it everything you got. I'm with you. You my people. I switch in a minute. I'm not loyal to things like that. I'm loyal to a positive mental attitude. I'm loyal to someone who gives it everything they got. And what makes a good football team or a team that's playing to get the World Series, was that given to you? What'd you have to do to get it? Win! He's going to the World Series because he has a record of winning. You don't get to the World Series unless you can win something. You don't get a successful life unless you can win some things. You don't get to pick the home you want to live in if you don't have any winning in your life. The more you win, the more opportunities open up for you. So good. I like it myself. Okay. How many of you have ever built a house? You've built the house, okay? How many have been riding by a location? Well, right down here. you see this little coffee place being built right down the road. Did y'all see that right by that church? Y'all seen that? The process. Do you see the works involved? I want to give you, I was going to use the farmer. I want to give you 4 or 5 things about building that I believe will help you, because this ties into what we're talking about. In order to build a structure, home or whatever, first you got to buy a piece of property, okay? Somehow you got to acquire property. Okay, you ready? The first thing you got to do after you buy the property is you got to clear the land. You just can't build without clearing the land. What does that mean? You got to clear trees off. If there's any old structures, you got to clear that off. You got to take the stumps out the ground. You got to clear that property so you can see it. Okay? And some things I'm not being putting in here. You got to have a plan. You don't say, man, I want to build Independence Mall on that little place where they're building that coffee shop. You don't have enough room. You got to make sure that what your definite chief aim is, that the property that you're buying can house your dream. Saturday? It was Saturday when she's riding around spending all the money. So listen. So I said, I want to carry you someplace. And she said, where you carrying me? That piece of property? I said, yeah. And this is what I said. Please don't say anything. Just let me ride by. Why? Because the piece of property is $1 million+. And to do what I want to do to it, it's probably another $500,000. So you're talking $1 million, $2 million. I said, please don't say anything. I'm dreaming. I don't want to hear, that's big. That's a lot of money. You think you go do that? No, I'm after $10 million in 10 years. I got 10 years to work on this. I'm working on this. But I want to be able, I have this whole vision. I have this whole plan for Rocky Point. I have this, I see this. I need 4 or 5 acres. I need this. I need that. I don't know if I'll ever reach it, but I'm aiming for it. And she just rides, and we look at it, and she said, yeah, that's a pretty piece of property and all that. But this piece of property is at least, I know it's a little over $1 million, but I've already told the Father, I want it. Why am I telling him? I'm going to show you this in a minute why I'm telling him. So one, I got to remove all the obstructions, all the buildings, everything on this property, so I got a clean piece of property so I can see it. Does that make sense? Now, this is talking about your head now. You got to clear your head of the obstructions and the negativity and the lack of self-confidence and the insecurities and all. You got to level the property so you can see what you got. Number 2 is you got the site clear. Not only did we level the property, now I've got to go in and remove the rubble, the debris, and even topsoil. I got to get down under the surface so I can see what's here. Why do we have to do that? It goes into number 3. You got to get the site, you got to get the obstruction off, you got to get the site cleared, because now we got the soil test. Y'all know anything about the Bible? You 1 of 4 soils. You got to go in and test the soil to see if the soil can handle the structure that I want to build on it. Do I have the character to handle the structure? Do I have the positive mental attitude to handle the structure? Can I handle the haters? Can I handle all the negativity? Can I handle what the pressure and the stress is going to be to build this? Can I handle this? So there's a soil test, and this determines the composition of the soil that I want to build on. Is it weight-bearing? Does it absorb water or hold water? Hello? Does things just roll off me, or do I have grudges? Unforgiveness? Jealousy? It's because you black and I'm not. You get all the little grants out there for people. You get this, you get that. You get all these other things. This has happened for you and it happened for me. No, you got to get all this site clearing done so when you build, there's nothing there that causes crack in the foundation. You ever walk down the sidewalk and you see cracks? That's because something happened that wasn't done right. And then I got to move into excavation. Hello. That means we're going to have to excavate the soil and go deep enough to, and listen, the previous church I was at, they had to go in, dig up tons and tons and truckloads of dirt and bring in dirt from another site because this dirt was not, you couldn't put a building. It had too much clay in it and it would move. They had to bring dozens and dozens of truckloads of sand in to be able to make this land perk and do everything it needs to create a building on it. What I'm teaching you is you got to remove things out of your mind and you're putting things in to create a site for you can build on. You're building your life on it. You're building your marriage on it. You got to excavate things out of your relationship that where you've done things in the past that's bad. You got to remove that and put good stuff in there so you can have them. Then your next marriage is going to be better. Or your next relationship. You may have failed on this business, but the next business, we're going to put some different soil in here. We're going to get rid of some friends because those friends... See, the excavation determines the stability of the structure I want to build. You know what causes most businesses to collapse? Family members. Where they say one of the worst things you do in a business is have your family, unless that family's been solidified. Why does he make more money than mine? Why do I have to take that out? Why don't he do that? Why do I? Just do your job. You're getting paid. Now, we got land clearing, site clearing, soil testing, and excavation. How about the last one here? Now you got to get some permitting. You got to make sure that what I want to build is suitable for this property. Have you even got permission to build what you want to build? Are you mature enough to build what you want to build? Will the soil, do you have the character, the attitude, and everything to support what you want to build? Man, we have dreams, but can you support your dreams? Whatever your spending habits are right now, if you got $1 million, your spending habits would be multiplied. So let me connect the dots here for you. Your subconscious mind is the soil. It's the field. And you are sowing. The more things you say, you are sowing. Your definite chief aim, your definite chief purpose, you're sowing that into your subconscious mind. That's the reason you go over it every day, all day long. You're going over your what God's created you. Creative thought. When you have creativity and imagination, this is fertilizer. This is soil conditioner that keeps that dream alive. I know this. I know y'all want to hear about Jesus and about going to heaven and all these things, and they're good. But Jesus put you on earth to put the recipe together so you can be successful. Your subconscious mind will not germinate your purpose until you have site preparation, until you clear some things out, until you work on some things. You can't have the things that God wants you to have. So I'm going to give you 2 big mistakes that prevent us from becoming an accurate thinker. The first word, we don't hear it much, is credulousness. 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 This is what it means, the habit of believing based on little or no evidence. Did you hear what Cardi B said? Did you hear what Lil Wayne said? Did you hear what Julio Fulio said? Did you hear? Did you hear? Did you hear? I mean, we don't need no evidence. We just believe stuff. We all do this. How many times you've sent something and shared something to come out, it was fake? Yeah. You're like, oh my gosh. But it's a human fault, and it's fatal to accurate thinking. Number 2, disbelieving what you do not understand or familiar with. Those are 2 big things I want to tell you. Make sure when you repeat something and share. I do this. A lot of times when people share things to me, I can tell you right where it came from. I can tell you what preacher it came from. I can connect the dots. That ain't your thinking. That ain't my thinking. You're repeating. And I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm just saying if it's inaccurate, you will. If you want people to trust you, you got to give good information. Does that make sense? So I want to share this. The word says you are the salt of the earth and the light of the world. That's big. And I don't want to get political here, but I want to share. I think it's a good thing. But it's a good word. And the word is dehumanization. We repeat things. And I just think it's a great name. Can I share something with you without being political, but using a political analogy? Can I do that? Okay. Because I'm trying to show you something, because politics is the biggest thing now. For 4 years, there is no way that no one in this room has not seen Joe Biden and knew that man, something was wrong with him. He can't walk up steps. He shuffles. I'm not criticizing. There's no way. The media and everybody, he's just as good. Now they had a debate, and it really was magnified how bad his was. Now they're trying to get rid of him. That's a shame. You've covered a lie. Listen to what I'm saying. You have covered a lie for 4 years. You have denied it. And now something's wrong. Why couldn't you see that 3 years ago? Help me, Majay, and different. I'm not being political. This is thinking. You did not know something was wrong with him 3 years ago or 2 years ago. Oh, he's just as good today. And people are saying right now, we want him for 4 more years. Something is wrong with you. I don't care if you're independent. I don't care. I don't care if he's 9 foot tall. I don't care nothing. The man is not, due to his age, he is not well. I say that, it's like I said, if my mom is 95 and she said, hey son, let's go for a ride. We ain't going nowhere, Mom. You drive, I Uber. I'm not riding with you. I Lyft, Uber. I'm not riding with you. If I'm in a hurry and I need to get across town, I won't ride with Cindy, because Cindy's going to take me to Castle Hayne Road and take me down to I-40 to, she's going to take me to Porter's Neck to get me down the road, because she like just riding around. I need to get there in like 5 minutes. I'm saying this apolitical. I wouldn't vote for anybody in the condition that Joe Biden to rule the greatest nation in the world and have push buttons to the ICW, to the weaponry. Why would you do that? What are you loyal to that you risk everything because you can't think accurately for yourself? It's obvious. And then they said I'm just showing you. I mean, I want to. Here's Joe Biden looking, and former President Obama has to go up. And walk him off. And you're willing, and you know people, thank you. You know people that are willing to say, I'm voting for him again. You do not have accurate thinking. You cannot process the situation. And then they came out and said, well, those are fake videos. I know y'all thinking, well, he's going political. I'm not going political. I'm talking about asinine thinking. Now, what does dehumanization mean? Do you know that Donald Trump, I'm using this as an analogy. Donald Trump was a folk hero, and he is in over 83 rap songs. He was considered God in the entertainment world, and he was followed, and everybody, you can go back, almost every celebrity and politician has pictures with him. When he ran for president, they all turned against him, and they say, he's a racist. He's Hitler. That is dehumanization. Okay, show one thing. You got to prove racism. Show it. You don't get to say what someone is unless you have the evidence. He's Hitler. Have you ever seen Hitler? Have you seen 6 million people, dead bodies? How dehumanization is when you attack people to destroy their personhood. He becomes or she becomes a monster. They become unhuman. And you know what? The media, and that has been done. I'm not telling you pro-Trump here or pro-Biden or either one. What I'm saying to you, he has been dehumanized, and that's what people do, to dehumanize where they're no longer human. It's been done all through history. The Indians were dehumanized. They're savages. Black people were dehumanized. All over the world, you dehumanize something to get people to not see it. Hitler dehumanized Jews. And do you know what? The Jewish people in this nation has been under attack, and hardly no one stands up against that. That is inaccurate thinking. Whether you white, black, Hispanic, I think you can dehumanize immigrants. I think you can dehumanize people coming across the border. I think you can dehumanize anybody. It is not God's will, and it's His plan for you to dehumanize people. I pray right now for the health of Joe Biden. But if you want to think, when you look at why you vote the way you vote, the church you choose, everything you choose, accurate thinking is saying, why do I believe what I believe? When you start believing lies, it puts you into a place where you become deceived and you start leaning toward lies. You cannot be an accurate thinker and not want the truth about everything you're believing. I want to know the truth. I want to know the truth. So I hope that didn't sound like I was plugging, but you are seeing in this nation a complete process of thinking that is totally inaccurate. Prove it. Whatever, when someone says, well, give me an example. Well, I don't know. Well, why are you saying something? And I think Miss Shalay would say, when you start thinking for yourself and moving out, then they start hating you, don't you? When black people start going to a white church, why are you going to a white church? Well, why can't I go? Jesus was dehumanized. What did they do to Jesus? He's a drunkard. They even said he's Beelzebub. He's the Lord of the devil. They attacked him, and you know it's a lie. So my question as I end this today on accurate thinking, because we could spend weeks and months on this one because it's so important. You need to start analyzing. That's a good point you just made. How did you arrive at that? I trust you. I need to verify your source. I need to do some digging on my own. Google is not a good source. So I'm saying this to all the kids. Trust your mom and dad, but verify. Trust me, but verify. When you just say, I don't believe that, I don't agree with that, why is it you do not agree? I'm okay with you not agreeing with me, but give me some evidence. Well, Jesus, what did Jesus do? Tell me what. I mean, you got to be willing, and then what people do, you just don't understand. No, I understand. Come back here. No, I'm done. Nobody can't talk to you. You're interrupting. You just they start using these deflection modes because they're uncomfortable with telling you, you know what, I can't tell you how I got this. I've had a life full of lies. The religion has fed me so many lies, and I'm going through them one by one. This has got to go. This one's got to go. This has got to go. This has got to go. What does God's Word say about this? And what is Holy Spirit in me telling me and bearing witness to this? And I don't care if I'm the only one. If it lines in Scripture, I'm sticking with the Scripture. I love my family. But unless you can stand in front and verify why you believe what you believe, why you're doing what you're doing, it's your recipe. So let me pray over you. Father, I thank you that Holy Spirit, the Spirit of truth lives in us, and I thank you for the Spirit of truth, and I pray for the Spirit of truth in everyone's life in this room. I pray for the Spirit of truth to be center in everyone's life as they navigate their finances, as they navigate their thinking, as they